Well, hello and welcome to this live question and answer English lesson. Sorry I was not super chatty in the chat today because it's really windy out here and I was trying to move the microphone closer and then it kind of fell over. And I actually even forgot to put the link for you to ask questions in the chat. So give me 1 second here. I'm just going to go to the description of this video. And I am going to put the link in there that you can use if you have a question. I think it's there now. We'll see in a moment. But welcome. I'm Bob the Canadian. If you are new here, this is a little English question and answer session that I do on Saturday mornings where you can use the link that will be shared to ask me questions about the English language. And I try my best to answer them. So I'm glad the audio sounds okay. It doesn't look windy out here, but it's quite windy. So I tried to put the microphone where I am protecting it with my body. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Hopefully that makes it so you can hear me quite well. But I think the microphone might cut in and out a little bit. We'll have to see. But anyways, it's good to see all of you. I see Lolly in the chat. Rod VIP is here. Todd the Canadian is here moderating. Panthera Nori is here. I saw Athanasios earlier and just a few other people. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get started. I know that by now there is at least one question ready for me to address. So let me just find that question and then we will get started. I hope that you all had a good week and I hope that you are all having a great weekend. Let's see here. First question. First question. The first question for today is from Ruslan. Hello, Teacher Bob. How are you? I just want to thank you for the great lessons. I always recommend your channel to all my friends who want to learn English. Well, Ruslan, thank you so much for the kind words. Thank you also for sharing my videos with your friends. When you share my videos with your friends, it actually helps my YouTube channel quite a bit. I think YouTube likes it when people share videos. So thank you very much for doing that. I am going to pause for a moment to just check the audio. I know a few people have said it sounds great. Looks like things are working good. So let's continue with the question. Let's see here. Next question is from Renata. Renata says, hello, Bob. I'm curious about something. I hope it's okay to ask. Is Jen short for something or is it just her name? You two are so cute. So first of all, Renata, your English is perfect. Everything that you put in that question is written exactly right. So awesome job on that. And yes, Jen is actually short for Jennifer. So Jen's full name is Jennifer, but most people, including myself, simply call her Jen. I'm noticing that when I look at the video, I'm glowing a little bit. There are less leaves on the tree every week because, let me just show you guys for a sec, because it is slowly but surely losing its leaves as fall continues. So at some point, I won't be able to do these live streams outside. I will have to find an inside place to do them. Maybe in the barn, but most likely I'll be back in the house at a certain point. Let me see here. Next question is from Nami. Nami says, hi, dear teacher. Would you please tell me the meaning of these? Render, usage, grant, and moral. Thanks in advance. So when something is rendered useless, it means it becomes useless. Render has a number of meanings, but that's probably the meaning that you're looking for. If there is a law that says you can only drive 60 kilometers an hour, and then they create a new law that says you can now drive 70, the first law has been rendered useless, okay? Usage is simply when you talk about using something. So you have different usages for things, so you can use things in a different way. When you grant something, you allow it. So I can grant my children working, and we'll go from there. And it looks like it kind of started again. Let me just double check. Technical problems are so much fun. We'll see if it gets back on track in a moment. Um, I think it might be working again. It says it's working again. Anyways, let's continue with the live lesson. Everyone cross your fingers. Let's hope that things keep working well as we go forward. Let me double check the audio one more time. And we'll go from there. I was talking about the word vindicate. Vindicate would be when you are cleared of wrongdoing or you're proven innocent. So great word. Let's see here. Ahmad says, "Hi, our beloved teacher. May I know how to answer a negative question?" Like I could say, "Aren't you going to the movies?" You would say, "Yes, I'm going to the movies." "Hey, I'm leaving now. Aren't you coming with?" You could say, "Oh, yes, I am coming with." Or you could say, "No, I'm not coming with." Hopefully things are working again. Let me just do one more check to make sure. Yeah, I think things are working. I'll just continue on as if there were no problems. Let's do that. I do want to say hi to the 262 people watching. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you are able to learn a few things. Let's see here. Margarita has the next question. Margarita's question is, "Hi, Teacher Bob. Please explain the difference between to pull off, to carry off, and to succeed. Thank you. Best wishes from Ukraine." So when you have, like, this lid is on here, I can take this lid off, but I can also pull this lid off. Whenever you pull something towards you, you can use the phrase to pull off if you're removing it. Sometimes you get things that have a sticker on the side and you want to pull off the sticker. When you carry something off, it means you lift it up and you walk away with it. And then to succeed is to just do something well and to achieve your goal. So my goal is to do a live stream today that lasts 1 hour. If I do that, I could say that I was able to succeed. So there you go. There are your 3 things. I'm a little nervous now that the live stream is going to stop working again. So I'll probably end up checking it far too often. Ryan has the next question. Hi, Ryan. How are you doing? Any special tips to sound more Canadian than American? You'll have to practice your, when you say about, you need to say that like a Canadian. You need to say a at the end of a sentence once in a while, and then you'll sound a lot more Canadian, eh? So those are the only 2 things. Again, most Canadians and Americans sound quite similar. There is a slight accent, but it's difficult to describe exactly how to replicate it. Johnny from Brazil. Hi, Johnny. Hello, Bob. How are you? In the sentence, "He is not cut out to be a doctor," what does cut out mean? So what that means is that maybe he's not smart enough. Maybe he doesn't have enough talent. He just can't do the job well. So sometimes you'll have someone who wants to be a teacher, but then when they are in the classroom, the students don't listen to them. And they really don't know how to plan a good lesson. In that situation, you would say, he's not cut out to be a teacher. If someone's not cut out to be a doctor, they really shouldn't become a doctor, because when you're a doctor, your lives of people are in your hands. So it's not good. So if you're not cut out to do something, it means you don't have the gifts or the talents or the ability to do it. Let's see here. Next question is from S.L. Lanka, and S.L. Lanka says, "Hi, Bob. Both these phrases were grammatically correct. Is that true? First phrase, the horse raced past the barn. That one's not grammatically correct. The horse that was raced past the barn. Yeah, so you could say the horse that was raced past the barn. That's a kind of a weird sentence. It's not very natural sounding. The first sentence, though, I cannot think of a way for that sentence to be correct. Let's go to the next one. Katerina from Ukraine says, "Good evening, Teacher Bob. Could you explain carry on and go on? Does it mean the same? Thank you for your help." So when you carry on, it means you continue. So when the live stream stopped working for a bit, I just thought, I'm just going to carry on. I'm just going to continue doing the live stream. You can use go on in the same way. You could say, well, I was having some problems, but I thought I'm just going to go on. which means to continue as well. They both have many more meanings than that. So do look up those two phrases and see if you can find some alternate meanings as well. Next question. Hi, Mr. Bob. Could you please make a video explaining how to differentiate passive voice and adjectives? I will do that. That is a fairly long lesson. I will add it to the list. I'm not sure when I will get to it, Gina. It might be a while before I'm able to make a video like that. Let's see here. Modine. Hi, Modine. Modine says, Mr. Bob, if there's a note stuck on the bottom surface of a table, is it more natural to say, look up from under the table, or just look under the table in daily conversation? We would say, look under the table. Sometimes you go to an event and they put things on the bottom of the chairs to say if you've won a prize or not. And at a certain point, they'll say, everyone look under your chairs. And people know that they need to look under, but then up at the bottom of the chair to do that. So we would just say, just look under the table for sure. Yes. Let's see here. Yasin. There's lots of noise over there. I'm not sure what's happening. I want to go look, but I'm doing a live stream. Yasin says, hello from Iraqi Kurdistan. My question is there any difference between get a hold of yourself and get over yourself? Thanks for your time, Bob. There's a slight difference. If someone is upset and they're crying and they're very emotional, you could say, get a hold of yourself. Okay. That means stop being so emotional. But if someone is very arrogant and just thinks they're the most amazing person in the world, you could say, get over yourself. It means please be more humble. Hey, I do see a lot of people asking questions in the chat. Please do not use the chat to ask questions. Please use the link that Todd and Nightbot will be sharing to ask your questions. That's really helpful for me, and it leaves the chat clear for little English conversations to occur. So please ask your questions using the link. Please do not ask questions in the chat. Let me see here. I'm going to check the next question. Next question is from Natalia. My tutor missed our lessons 2 times. Last time, he didn't even say why. What do you think? Apart from professionalism, what qualities should an English tutor have? Well, definitely they should have timeliness. They should be on time. If you are paying for the lessons especially, you should expect that if you are going to meet at 8 a.m., that the person is there at 8 a.m., either in person or on Zoom. I would be upset if my tutor missed 2 lessons and then didn't even explain why. That would be upsetting. It's nice to know ahead of time. Sometimes me and my French-speaking partner aren't able to meet at the time we agreed. So we will send an email saying, hey, can't meet tomorrow at 10 a.m. Can we meet on Wednesday instead? So that's the polite thing to do. But they should be kind. They should be very knowledgeable. They should, in my opinion, have some experience learning a language. So I know you hire a tutor to help you learn English, but I think when you learn English from someone who has already studied another language themselves, they are just better teachers, for sure. I don't think your tutor needs to be a native speaker. I think if your tutor has learned English themselves and is very, very proficient, that's just as good as a native speaker. Let's see here. Next question from Athanasios. And Athanasios says, hi, Teacher Bob. How was your night? It was good. It was a nice night. Again, it's really nice here. It's very warm. I'm wearing short sleeves this week. It's supposed to be 26 degrees Celsius today, so I'm looking forward to that. Let's see here. I have a question here. You do up your buttons. What's the opposite? We undo our buttons, or we unbutton. So when I take off my shirt, I unbutton my shirt, okay? So when I put on my shirt, I button up my shirt. And when I take my shirt off, I unbutton the shirt. You can also say that you undo your buttons, but usually we say unbutton. Let's see here. Next question is from Ari. And Ari says, hello, Bob. How are you? I'm good, Ari. Thanks for asking. I have a question. Which one is right? Where do you live, or where are you living? When we ask someone about his or her residence, both work. Both are totally correct. Usually we say, where do you live? But you can totally say, where are you living? So if I met someone, let's say I met my nephew who I have not seen for a couple years, I could say, oh, where do you live now? Or I could say, oh, where are you living now? Both are totally correct. Have you moved lately? Where are you living now? Oh, did you move? Where do you live now? Both of those work. Let's see here. Next question is from Hill. Hi, Hill. Hi, Bob. Nice to see you. I'm always confused about how to pronounce the W sound and V sound, such as movie, very, and wary. Yeah, it's really tricky, isn't it? So just remember the V sound, your teeth hit your bottom lip. I look kind of like a rabbit. V, v, v. And w, w, w. So war with a W, war. You can see I form a circle, war. And then when I say very, very, and then let's do the word wave because it has both sounds in it. So I'm expressing it more than you should, but wave. You can see my funny little face at the end there. So there you go. Hopefully that helps just a little bit. Hey, I want to pause and thank the 429 people who are here. Don't forget there is a subscribe button over there if you want to subscribe to my channel. I always appreciate more subscribers. It's super fun to see the subscriber number go up. And if you subscribe, you'll know when I put out a new English lesson. So thank you for being here, all of you. Let's see here. Next question is from Mahmoud. Hi, boss. How are you today? I like it when people call me boss. That's very nice. I'm at a good position at my work, but when it comes to conversation, I stay put. What can I do to talk English efficiently? So you just need to do it more. I know I say that every week, and I highly recommend when you get to the point where you need to practice your English conversation, I highly recommend that you hire a tutor. Whether you meet the person in person, like at a cafe, or whether you meet them online via Zoom or Skype, at a certain point, having a tutor really helps your conversation. You can go and try to find people to talk to, but it's hard to find someone who will talk to you for 30 minutes or an hour. So sometimes you do just need to pay someone. So, and again, you can also do a conversation exchange. That's what I do to practice my French. I practice my French once a week. I meet with my friend Marie for an hour on Zoom. We speak French for half an hour, and then we speak English for half an hour. So I can practice my French, and she can practice her English, and it works really, really well. So if you can't afford or don't want to pay someone, try to do a language exchange. Let's see here. Ario has the next question. Ario says, hello, Mr. Bob. Could you please tell me, what does never ever give up mean? I listened to Mr. Trump's speech today. Thanks. So sometimes when you're doing something, Oscar's barking. I'm not sure what he's barking at. There's nothing exciting going on. I think he just heard the wind. Anyways, sometimes you're doing something and you want to stop doing it. So let's use learning English as an example. Sometimes you're learning English and you want to quit. Sometimes you're learning English and you think, I should quit. I would then say to you, never ever give up. It's a way to emphasize that I don't think you should quit. So I would say, you know what? Never ever give up. Just keep working at it. I think you can do it. It looks really hazy behind me. I think there's a machine in the field making lots of dust. But if you can see in the background, let me just get rid of the questions for a sec. You can see just a little bit maybe that the trees are starting to turn color outside. Anyways, never ever give up. You could just say never give up. You could just say don't give up. But if you really want to emphasize it, you would say never ever give up. By the way, never ever give up learning English. Let's see here. Andre Padron. Let me just check to make sure everything's working still, everybody. Yeah, everything's working still. It's getting windier and windier out here, but everything's still working. Andre says, hello, Teacher Bob. What is the difference between I am mad about you and I am mad at you? Thank you, regards. Panther says, we can see the landscape in the background. Yes, very cool. I'm glad that you can see it. Let me turn the question off for a sec. It's a little bit bright out there, so it's a little hard to see, but it is slowly turning color. So if I say I'm mad about you, it means that I like you a lot and I might even be falling in love with you. So if I was to be dating someone, I'm not, I'm married. Oh, I could just say this to Jen. I could just say, Jen, I'm mad about you. It means that I love her a lot, okay? If I say I'm mad at you, it means I'm angry. If somebody does something that I don't like and offends me, I could say, you know what? I'm mad at you. And you could also just say, I'm angry with you. Yeah, good question, Andre. Very, very different meanings. Let's see here. Irina says, hi, Bob. Please explain how to use fugitive as an adjective. Thank you. He was a fugitive. That's a noun. I'm not sure how to use fugitive as an adjective. Let me see here if there is an example that I can find. Give me 1 sec. By the way, a fugitive is someone who is trying to avoid the police and trying to escape. And I can't think of a way to use it as an adjective. Okay, so, but a fugitive would certainly be someone who is on the run, who is trying to avoid getting arrested by the police. Vansh says, hi, Teacher Bob. Nice to see you. Could you tell me the difference between hairs and hair? So I have hair. I have many hairs on my head. But when I talk about this, I just call it my hair. So it's kind of funny because obviously there's thousands of hairs on my head. But when you talk about you get a haircut, I'm going to wear a hat so that my hair doesn't get wet. We don't ever say hairs unless we're saying there are many hairs on my head. Okay, I have many hairs on my beard, but generally I would just say, yeah, I have a lot of hair on my face. That's how we would say it. Hairs plural is a rare word to use in English. Hopefully that helps. Shanae has the next question. And Shanae says, hello, teacher. What are the differences between these words? Initiate and trigger, elicit and select, incorporate and integrate. Those are hard words. So when you initiate something, you start it. So it's kind of a fancy word to say you're starting something. Like I'm going to initiate a new series of lessons next week. I could also just say I'm going to start a new series. When you trigger something, we're using this in a new way now. Normally a trigger is what you use to fire a gun. It has a trigger, but you can also trigger people now. So if I say something that makes you angry, you could say that triggered you, okay? You can also trigger something to happen. So if I push my camera over, it might trigger a series of bad things because it might knock over my light and a few other things. So, and then when you elicit something, it means you try to get something. The best way to explain this would be sometimes you try to elicit a response from someone. So you try to get them to answer you. And when you select something, you choose it. When you incorporate something, you put it into it. When you integrate something, you put it into it as well. So when you mix a whole bunch of ingredients, you incorporate them by mixing them together. Sorry, I'm a little distracted here. There's a lot going on the farm. It's okay. Everything's fine. Nothing bad is happening. There's just a tractor. The soybeans are gone. My neighbor is here planting wheat in my field. Jen's driving the lawnmower. Many, many things happening. And it's very exciting to live on a farm. Let's get to the next question, though. Next question is from Lalit from India. Hello, Bob. How are you? I have doubt about when to use it is to be done and it has to be done. Thanks in advance. Have a nice day. So if I am at work and there is a project, my boss can say it is to be done by Friday or it has to be done by Friday. You can say both. We would use the second phrase quite a lot more often. We would say things like, it has to be done by Friday. Okay, it's going to rain Monday. My neighbor has to plant the wheat today. It has to be done today because it's going to rain on Monday. I could say it is to be done today, but it sounds clunky. It's not a very common or smooth way to say it in English. Let's get to the next question. Next question is from Sundari. Which one is right to say? Long last or last long, and long life or lifelong? Thanks for your time to answer my questions. I really appreciate it. So let's look at all of these. Long last we wouldn't say very often, okay? I'm not sure we would say that at all. We would say that you want something to last long. I do this live stream for an hour. Some people wish that it would last a long time. They wish it would last long. When you buy milk, it goes bad, but sometimes I wish it would just last. Last longer. Sorry, I made a mistake there. You would say, I would hope this would last longer. Long life. Everyone hopes to have a long life. And then lifelong means all during your life. So hopefully that made some sense. Kind of ignore the first explanation about last long. I want this to last long. I want this to last longer. You can say both. Interesting. Sometimes even I get a little confused by my own native language. So anyways, Ramon has the next question. Oh no. Ramon says, it's so nice to see you again, Bob. I think I'm a YouTube crush on you, or I have a YouTube crush on you. Here's my question. Have you ever felt like you fail to understand English speakers in movies? Yes, very often. I'm happy when I'm watching a movie on my computer because I can rewind sometimes to listen to what's happening. Because sometimes even I don't understand something. Sometimes English speakers in movies speak too fast and I miss something. So sometimes even I have trouble understanding what's said in a movie. Just going to double check my audio for a sec, people. Excellent. Sounds like everything's working. Let's keep on going here. Let's see here. Rod VIP says, good morning, Mr. Bob. How are you today? I'm good, Rod. Thanks for asking. I wonder what's the difference between pledge and promise. Thank you. Have a great weekend. So when you pledge to do something, you are promising to do something. A pledge is it's a more official way to promise something. So at work, we might pledge to do a really good job teaching our classes. So it's this really official way to make a promise. When you promise something, of course, you say you're going to do something, and then you make sure that you do it. So those are the two descriptions or definitions. Hopefully that helps you quite a bit, Rod. Give me a sec here, everyone. I'm going to make a small change. I'm having trouble seeing my screen. That's okay. There we go. Okay. So what I have done is I have turned on members only chat. If you are a member of the channel, if you clicked that join button down there at some point in the past and you decided that you wanted to support my channel, you can now ask questions directly in the chat for the next 10 minutes. And I appreciate you. Thank you very much for being a supporter. Lolly Lolly says, bonjour, Bob. Are you a strict teacher with your students? Do you sometimes punish them? I am both a nice teacher, but also a strict teacher. I'm not sure how to describe it. You probably would be better off asking one of my students. I think most of the time students enjoy being in my class, but I do not have a lot of patience for students who goof off or students who don't do the work that they're supposed to do. I like students to enjoy themselves, but I also like my students to get their work done because after all, they are there to learn and I want to make sure that that happens. Aniko says, Panthera Nori, if you continue learning, it will happen. Oh yes, I am better in Arabic. I can read the letters quite well. That's very cool. I tried to learn a little bit of Arabic once, and the alphabet and the letters really, that was a big challenge for me. So very cool. So pledge is closer to a vow. Yes, Panthera, definitely. A vow is also a very formal way to make a promise. Sometimes it's even a legal way to make a promise, where you take a vow. When you get married in a church, you say your vows to each other, which are very formal promises. Let's see here. Aniko says, what's the difference between property and possession? They're almost the same thing. Like this cup is one of my possessions. If I talk about everything I own, I could say my property. They are very similar, although be careful because behind me, this is also my property, okay? When you talk about the place where you live, your house or your farm or a piece of land you own, you call it your property. Panthera Nori says, Teacher Bob, if I say up to now, means totally the same as so far. So up to now, I've been teaching for 31 minutes. So far, I've been teaching for 35 minutes. Very similar. And Up to now, we've only had one problem during the live stream today, and I can say so far we've only had one problem during the live stream. I do want to say hi to the 551 people watching. I'm always surprised when I start the live stream. There's 30 people, then 70, and then about 200 or 300, and then eventually it goes up to 500 or 600 people. It's amazing. Thank you for being here. Hang out for a bit, learn a little bit of English. Let's see here. Lolly says, merci, Bob. And I say, de rien. Norma says, hi, Mr. Bob. Tomorrow we have elections here. Well, I hope they go well. I do think that elections are tricky. They are difficult to do when you have COVID. It's just going to be different than it was in the past. I'm assuming you have mail-in ballots and people will be able to vote in person, but I hope it goes well. Let's see here. Seo Wu says, I make many mistakes in English. Yes, sometimes you do. I even corrected a few there, just so you know. Everyone makes mistakes. In fact, I think it's very important to make mistakes, because if you only do the things in English where you don't make mistakes, you won't be learning. So I often tell my students when I'm teaching them French, you have to speak French and you need to make mistakes in order to learn French. And the same is true for all of you. If you really want to learn English, you have to use English and you're going to make mistakes. But that's good. If you're making mistakes, you're doing things right. Let's see here. Rod says, Mr. Bob, with a lot of things on your plate, could you reschedule your Wednesday naps? I hope you did. Yeah, I have a lot on my plate, but Rodrigo, I'll tell you about this when we talk next week. I kind of created a new plan for how I do everything, and it's really helped. Once school started, I had to adjust to teaching again, and I kind of came up with a new plan for when I make videos and when I edit them, and I think it's going to work out well and allow for me to have one nap on Wednesday and a nap on Saturday afternoons. Panthera says, got it, teacher. Awesome. Norma says, are elections mandatory in Canada? So you are not required to vote in Canada. In fact, many people don't vote. But it is certainly good to vote for sure. Sorry, once again, there is a lot. There's just, you can't see it. There's just farm machinery going by all day today because it's a beautiful day. And in the fall, we plant wheat. We plant something called winter wheat. So the wheat will start to grow now. And then when winter comes, it will be dormant under the snow. So it doesn't die. It just stops growing. And then in the spring, it will pop out of the ground again. So let's see here. Wasim says, hi, Bob, sir. How are you today? Thank you so much. You are welcome, Wasim. And thank you for being here. Let me get to the next question. So Durya says, hello, Teacher Bob. Lots of love from Turkey, and thanks for your amazing lessons. You're welcome. I just want to ask, what's the difference between redeem and rescue? When you redeem something like a coupon, if I get a coupon and it says $1 off your next loaf of bread, when I buy the bread, if they say this bread is $4, and if I give them the coupon, then I am redeeming the coupon, and then the bread will only be $3. When you rescue someone, you save them. So if the picnic table fell apart and I was stuck under the picnic table and Jen came and got me out from under the picnic table, we would say that she rescued me. So when you rescue someone, you save them. Panthera says, Teacher Bob, up to now, what have you experienced at the school? Are there any difficulties? All of you guys can cope with the new situation. So here's the biggest problem. When a student gets sick or when a teacher gets sick, 100% of the time, it's not COVID, but you need to stay home for 3 or 4 days until you get your test results. So let me re-explain. Last week, there were 4 teachers home sick. All they had was a minor cold or minor flu. They did not have COVID, but as soon as you are a little bit sick in Canada, you may not go to work until you get a COVID test and it comes back negative. It takes 3 or 4 days right now to get a test result. So we often have students and teachers gone from work for 2 or 3 days, sometimes 4, and they're not even sick anymore. because they just had a small cold, but they can't come back to work until they get a negative test result. So it's a little bit challenging right now, for sure. Let's see here. That's the biggest challenge. So I have taught some other people's classes the last little while because they couldn't make it in. Olga says, could you explain the difference between be used to and get used to? Thank you. It's good to be used to stuff. It's good to get used to stuff. Yeah. When I first started live streaming, I wasn't used to it. It was very difficult. But eventually I became quite used to it. I'm quite used to it now. I was able to get used to it. So when you are used to something, that means it's very easy to do. When you get used to something, it means you're in the process of it becoming easy to do. They almost mean exactly the same thing. That wasn't a great explanation, but hopefully that helped just a little bit. Let's see. Next question is from Lasima from Cambodia. Hi, Teacher Bob. Could you tell me the best way to remember vocabulary and listening skills? Thanks a million. The best way to remember vocabulary is to use it immediately. If that means writing it in a sentence, if that means saying it out loud, I always find if you are meeting with a tutor once a week to practice English conversation, try to use any new words you have learned in your next conversation with your tutor. I think that's a very wise thing to do. So I know you know the word cat and dog, but if today you learn the word cat and you learn the word dog, the very next time you have an English conversation, try to use those words at some point in the conversation. So let's see here. Sultan says, Teacher Bob, you say today is a nice day, but it's sunny, I see now. Yeah, it's quite sunny actually. I feel like there's just sun on my head. I hope I don't get a sunburn on the back of my head today. But it's a beautiful day. You can sit outside. I was wearing shorts earlier. I went for a walk this morning and I wore shorts. It's just a beautiful day. Panthera says, can you say a few examples with the verb arrange? You can arrange a date, an appointment, a meeting, or something else. Yeah, so you can arrange flowers. So when you take a bunch of different kinds of flowers and you make a bouquet, we would say that you are arranging flowers. So Jen, every week, she will go to her studio and she will arrange flowers. You can obviously arrange to meet someone, as you mentioned. So if I want to talk to someone on Zoom, I can arrange to meet with them at a certain time. So it means having a conversation about when to meet. You arrange to meet with someone. You can arrange things on a counter or on a shelf. So if you have a bookshelf, you can arrange your books in a certain way. So it means just to put them the way you like them. That's about it. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. But those are the different ways to arrange things. Let's see here. Layla says, hi, Teacher Bob. I just want to tell you that I like your videos and I learned a lot of English from you. Thanks a bunch. You are very, very welcome, Leela. I try my best to create good content. I try my best to create good lessons, and I'm glad to hear that you appreciate them. And also, it is fun for me, just so all of you know. I really like making English lessons and putting them on YouTube. I think that when I look at my life, there are certain things you just enjoy doing. I really enjoy doing this. It's fun to think of an idea, make a video with my camera, edit it, and then put it online for all of you to watch. So if any of you are wondering how long am I going to do YouTube, for a very long time, because it's really fun for me. It's really fun for me to sit here on a Saturday morning and just chat with all of you. It's super fun. Hey, I'm going to go and I'm going to switch off. Sorry, getting my words mixed up here. I'm going to switch off members only chat. So we're in normal chat mode again. Please remember that if you do have a question, please use the form to ask it. And I do want to say thank you so much to people who have become members. You have allowed me to do really cool things with my channel. Probably the coolest thing that members have allowed me to do is that I have turned off ads in the middle of my videos. So I used to have ads in the middle of my videos to earn a bit of money to help me pay for equipment and other things. But members have actually made it to the point where I decided last week, even my long 1-hour videos, even this video, if you watch it again later, it will have an ad at the beginning maybe 2, and it will have an ad at the end, but there are no more ads in the middle of my videos. So thank you to the members for making that happen. It is you guys who clicked that join button who have allowed me to do that. So it's awesome. Thank you very much for that. Let's see here. I'm just going to scroll back. Really good to hear that you like doing these videos. It's widely important. Yes, Panthera. If I didn't like doing it, yeah, it would be hard to do, wouldn't it? Panthera also says, I see it's also like allocate things. Yes, in a physical space for sure. Let me see here. And then SEO Wu says, do you have English slang words only used by a new generation in your country, but you don't have the foggiest idea of the meaning? Yes. There are a few words right now. I don't want to say them, but I have to figure out what they mean because I heard my students using a new word the other day and I wasn't sure what it meant. So I have to use the internet to look it up and we'll see what it is. Let me see here. Let's get back to the lesson. Let's keep going on this lesson. If you hear a sound, it's the tractor behind me. Jefferson says, hi, Mr. Bob. How are you doing? I'm good, Jefferson. Canadians like horses, and how much is one there? Thanks in advance. I don't know how much a horse costs. I do know, though, that owning a horse is very expensive because they eat a lot of hay every day, and you need to buy grain to feed them. So I'm not sure how much a horse costs, but I do know that if you own a horse, you spend a lot of money on feed. A lot of money. Let's see here. Aliasgor says, how can I speak English more fluently? You need to practice. Just like if you were playing a sport, you need to practice in order to be good at that sport. If you were playing on a professional team, you would have practice every day of the week. If you are learning English, you need to practice every day of the week. If you want to speak more fluently, if speaking is the thing you really want to work on, you need to hire a tutor, okay? There are web pages like italki or Cambly or Preply. There's actually a link in the description to Preply you can use. If you really want to improve your English speaking, there's nothing that comes close to having a tutor. You can meet with Skype, you can meet with Zoom, you can meet in person, but that is a good one. Let's see. Let me get to the next question here. Next question is from Kyle. Hello, Bob. I intend to apply for Cambridge Advanced English. What would you recommend? That's a pretty broad question. I obviously recommend that you study hard. Don't forget to practice reading, writing, listening, speaking, and learn vocabulary and focus a little bit on grammar. And then make sure that you are always studying a little bit above your level. So if everything you are reading is easy to understand and everything you are watching or listening to is really easy to understand, and if you are having no difficulty having English conversations, try to push things up. You always want learning to be a little bit difficult when you are doing it. Let's see here. Just going to see Todd. Todd, you are around still, right? I think Todd's around. Just say hi, Todd. I think the chat's getting a little full of questions, but just a reminder to everyone, please use the form to ask questions. Please don't ask questions in the chat. It just gets very, very confusing for everybody. Yeah, Marcin says, hello, dear teacher. Basically, you think I'm eye candy. So eye candy is when someone is attractive. So thank you for the compliment. How do you know if someone talks about these white common mushrooms, not mushrooms in general? Culinary English seems so odd to me. I'm not sure. I don't know a lot about mushrooms except this. We buy mushrooms in the grocery store. We do not pick mushrooms because almost all the mushrooms that grow here are not edible. And some of them are probably even a little bit poisonous. So I don't know a lot about mushrooms. Sorry about that, Marcin. Let's see here. Yeah, so the next person has chosen a name that's quite rude. So I am going to skip that one because they've chosen a name that if you say it in English is a very, very bad phrase. So I'm going to find out where that person posted that question from, and I'll probably block that IP. So I'm going to skip that question. Let's go to the next one. Ben from Thailand says, "Hi, Bob. Nice to meet you." Thank you very much. Jean has the next question. Jean says, or Jean says, "Dear Bob, in the French language we say, ce n'est pas ton affaire. What is it in English? I know that you are a French teacher." I would say it's none of your business. Ce n'est pas ton affaire. It's none of your business. When someone asks me a question and it's about something very private, I would say, hey, it's none of your business. That's not something that I say very often, but sometimes people ask very personal questions and you might think to yourself, hey, it's none of your business, but it's definitely none of your business. Yeah. Let me see here. Shreya says, "I would like to ask you that what is the difference between on and upon?" So you can put something on a shelf, you can put something upon a shelf, but it's not a word we use that often. We use on quite a bit more. Like you can sit upon something. It sounds very old when I use the word upon. It sounds like something you would read in a book, right? Or you would hear once upon a time. Yeah. Upon a day like this. Yeah, it's kind of a formal word that isn't used much in everyday speech. So Ron asking about what could be considered swear words or vulgar language, or I'm not sure what I would call it, but Ron says, "Hello, Professor Bob. What have you been up to lately?" I've been working like a maniac, Ron. I've been working on the farm. I've been working at work teaching, and I have been working on my YouTube channel. So you asked, and instead of saying none of your business, I actually responded and said, I have been really busy working lately. I want to know what the difference between oh my God and holy shit is. Do they have different nuances? So first of all, both would be considered vulgar language or swearing. If you say, oh my God, it's very common with non-religious people. Oddly enough, with religious people, you will not hear them say this because they think it's a bad thing to say. Holy shit is very vulgar, but it is quite common in English speech in Canada. You would not say this at work. You would not use that phrase in a formal setting. You might use it when you're hanging out with friends, and it's simply used to express surprise, okay? I'm not going to give too many examples because I don't want to use the phrase too often, but definitely it is a common phrase. The second one is very common. Next question is from Hamid Riza. "Hello, dear Bob. How are you today?" I'm good. "My problem is that I understand English, but I can't speak in English so much. Thanks for your help." You have to practice the thing that you're not good at. So here's what can happen. Sometimes when you're learning a language, you really love reading. And so you spend a lot of time reading and you don't spend a lot of time listening or speaking or writing. Sometimes when you're learning a language, reading and listening can be very easy to do. So you read a book, you watch a TV show, and you feel like you're learning English. But you really need to dedicate time to those other things. They are very different. Okay, so that's the best thing that I can recommend. You need to speak more. You have to find time to speak more English for sure. Let me get to the next question. It's getting windier out here. Can you tell I'm trying to block the microphone more? Let's see here. So Nami or Nema says, "Hi, Mr. Bob. Could you please explain to me the difference between inner, insight, and insightful? Thank you." So, you know, in your inner being, you can feel that something's right or wrong. So it means inside. Like you can see me pointing at my heart, right? In my inner being, I feel a certain way. When you have an insight, it means you can, you have some clarity or understanding into a problem. So sometimes when I have a problem live streaming, I'm looking for some insight into what the problem might be. So I'm looking for some guidance. If you're insightful, you're just really good at understanding things quickly. That would be a good way to put it. Let's see here. Panthera says, "Hi, dear teacher Bob. Is there a rule for when we can use a string of, like pulling off a string of brilliant saves if we are talking about a goalie. Thanks a lot. Yes, anytime something happens in a row. So until the problem earlier with the live stream, I had a string of really good live streams with no technical problems. In terms of starting live streams on time, I have a pretty good string of live streams where I've started on time. It is definitely used in sports a lot to say that team has a string of 3 wins, or they have a long string of wins for sure. It just means something's happened repeatedly, but definitely used in the sporting world a lot. Let's see here. Afra says, hi Bob, teacher, I'm following from Turkey and I have a question. I want to go abroad. I'm an aviation student. Do you suggest work and travel for a short time in the summer? Anytime you can combine work with travel, I would do it. I often wish that instead of learning French in university, that I had traveled to France to learn French. If you can find a way to work and to learn at the same time, I would do that. Also, I think it's cool that you are learning to be a pilot. If you are an aviation student, you are studying to be a pilot. That's really cool. Hopefully you can perfect your English and use that in your future. Let's see. Oh, Mohanad, teacher, how are you? I'm good. Thank you very much for asking. I'm doing really well. Let's see here. Next is from Mohammed. Hi, sir. I hope you are well. What does cheer up mean? Thank you. If someone is sad, you could say, hey, cheer up. It's not so bad. So when you tell someone to cheer up, you are saying that they should become happy, okay? So sometimes a student will get a bad grade. They'll get a test and they'll say, oh, I was expecting a higher grade. And I can say, oh, cheer up. You can do a retest tomorrow. So I'm just saying, hey, don't be sad. Just be happy. You can do the test again tomorrow. So that's what cheer up would mean. Let's see here. Next one is from Batool. Hi, Bob. This is Batool. My question is, can you create 2 sentences about crowd and crowded? So when you go to an event, like an outdoor concert, there is a large crowd. Today, if you went to a concert in Ontario, there would be 25 people because that's only how many people can meet. But when you refer to something as a crowd, it means that there are a few hundred people all in the same place. When you get in an elevator and there are already 10 people in the elevator, you would say the elevator is crowded. Okay, so a crowd is a group of people, a large group of people. And when you are someplace where everyone has to stand really close together, you would describe that as being crowded. That would be the difference between the two. Let's see here. Let's go to the next question. It's from Dora. Let me get back to my screen here. Dora says, hello, Mr. Bob. Could you explain the meaning of over breakfast? E.g., we have a meeting over breakfast. We can talk over breakfast. Why don't we talk over lunch? Hey, why don't we meet for coffee tomorrow and we'll talk over coffee? So anytime you meet to eat, but you're also going to have a conversation or a discussion about something, you use the word over, okay? So if I was to say to my boss, oh, I don't have time to meet this morning, but can we talk over lunch? Can we talk over supper tonight? No, I don't have supper with my boss, but sometimes Jen will talk over supper. It simply refers to the fact that you're going to eat and you're going to have a conversation about something at the same time. Let's see here. Dea. Dea says, hi, Bob. How do you manage to be a teacher, including YouTube lessons, and a farmer? I am a teacher and thinking of doing something else additional. So one thing that's nice as a teacher is that I don't work during the summer. So I do a lot of the farm work on the farm in the summer. So I help Jen a lot. Also, as most of you know, we grow flowers, but Jen does the vast majority of the work. I help out a lot, but it's really Jen's baby, we would say. I know a baby is a small human, but when you talk about something, we can also use the word baby. So it's Jen's baby. It's Jen's job to work on the farm. It's what she has decided to do. So I help her a lot, but it's really her thing. In terms of teaching and YouTube, I just try to be very efficient with my time. I try to schedule things and get them done quickly and efficiently. I think English with Adriana might be doing a video. I talked to English with Adriana a couple weeks ago on Zoom, and she was asking about how I manage my time, and she might release that video. We'll have to see. You'll learn more about how I manage my time. Also, I'm busy. I'm too busy. I should be less busy. That would be nice. Let's see. Oho says, I won't ask any questions. I only have to say that you are doing a great job. Thank you so much. You are very welcome. So this is tricky, Ari. Hi, how can we study parts of speech for when we want to study the word theory? There are other forms of that word. Is there any rules for us to guess the meaning? There aren't really, and I know that makes it really tricky. The best thing you can do is when you get to the point where you're looking at multiple words with multiple meanings, words that sound the same but have different meanings or sound differently, it's best just to have a lot of exposure to the English language through your listening and your reading. Those would be critical, Ari. Do both of those a lot. Let's see here. Next question is from Pratyusha. Hi, Bob. Guruji. Guruji means teacher with respect. Well, thank you very much. How's your fall starting off? It's starting off good. The weather's nice. Kids are happy. We are all very healthy. That's super exciting. Work is fun. Things are just going well. Flower sales are good right now. We're selling lots of flowers, so we're very happy about that. How do you use the word way long back or way back in a sentence? Thank you for teaching us. So a long ways back, you might say, but I would say something like this. If I'm talking about the past, I could say, oh, way back a couple of years ago, I had a really nice red minivan. And then I bought my current red minivan. So if I'm talking about the past, I could say way back, way back, I think it was 4 or 5 months ago, I went shopping and I bought way too much bread. I don't know, that's a really bad example. You can tell it's getting close to being an hour. But when you use way back, you're simply talking about something way, way, way in the back. Let's see here. Let's do a few more questions. I'm going to skip the next one. It's very grammar-like. Sorry about that if I skip your question. Ayat says, I'm new here. Well, welcome. Thank you, sir. My question is, which app do you prefer to learn English from and which app for translation? So for translation, I do like Google Translate. Don't use it too much. Just use it. I always say use it in case of emergency. So if you really don't understand something, use Google Translate, but don't get addicted to it. Don't put every single word and phrase into it. And I like Duolingo. If it's available for you in your language, I did the entire French Duolingo a few years ago. Some people don't like Duolingo. I love it. I think it's a great app and definitely well worth using as one of the things you do to improve your English. I don't think any one app does everything. I really think you need to do a lot yourself. You need to decide, let's say this, you need to decide, I'm going to do Duolingo. I'm going to learn 200 vocabulary words a month. I'm going to watch YouTube videos from this English teacher on YouTube. I'm going to read a book every 30 days. I'm going to watch this TV show. You really need to build like a lot of variety. Don't just do one thing for sure. Sarah says, hi, Bob. How to correct this sentence? It can find a virus in an email. Thanks a lot. So I corrected it while I was reading it. This software, it can find a virus in an email. That's how I would say that. And that would be totally correct. So that's how virus scanners work sometimes. They find. Let's see here. Jonathan says, hi, Bob. I don't know exactly how to use properly commas and periods when writing sentences. And please make a video about more idioms. Thank you. God bless. So I don't even always know when to use a comma, but I do know that a period comes at the end of the sentence, or a question mark, or an exclamation mark. You can use any of those. Hey, folks, I'm going to turn off the questions so you can see the tree. And it has been an hour. I'm sorry I did not get through all the questions today. There are a lot. Sorry about that. Let me just check for a sec where we're at. Yeah, there are a lot, so I'm not going to be able to get through them all. Sorry about that. Thank you, though, for being here. 621 viewers. If you're new here, don't forget there is a subscribe button. You should subscribe if you want to be notified. If you want to support my channel, consider becoming a member. It's always helpful to have a little more help to support me in the work that I do. And thank you for all of your great questions. I hope I was able to answer them as best as possible. If you want, this video will have automatic subtitles in a few hours. Do come back and watch parts of it to gain a better understanding. If there was a part that you didn't quite understand, come back and watch it. And some of you shadow me. So if you want to do that, watch parts of the video and pause it and repeat what I have said in order to practice your English speaking. But anyways, thanks Todd for being here and helping out. Thanks to all of my members like Aniko and Rachel is here. I know Lolly is here. I know Rod VIP is here. I see Natalia Illusion. Hey Natalia, hope you're doing well over there in Russia. Panthera Nori is here too. Just thank you to all of you. Norma is here. Have a great week, and I will see you with a new lesson Tuesday. I think it's going to be fun. I have a few fun scenes planned for the next video so that you can laugh a little bit while you're learning English. That's always the best, isn't it? Anyways, I'll finish by letting you just have a nice view. Let me move the microphone. I have to click the